Hey everybody, Doc Brown here with a quick video lesson. I've received a lot of positive comments and feedback on my arrangement of the Mr. Rogers theme, Won't You Be My Neighbor? And I've been also getting some good questions about the changes I've used and other ways I treated the tune, so I figured I'd just do a video breakdown for y'all and kind of cover what I did. So this song is written by Fred Rogers, and at the start of every episode, Johnny Acosta would play that intro as Mr. Rogers walks on the set. And depending, on the pacing of that day, how Mr. Rogers went through that intro, it might vary slightly. So the version I referenced, these are kind of the harmonies that I heard Johnny use and the phrasing of the melody. It might vary slightly depending on which version or episode you check out, but here's what I came up with. I hope you enjoy it. If you end up performing this or, recording it, feel free to credit me as the arranger of this tune. Did put in some work arranging it and transcribing it, so appreciate that. But let's go ahead and dive right in. So for starters, this whole intro is over a G pedal. The tune is in C. Basically, this first measure, how it starts off on the piano, is left hand, Johnny plays, G octaves, and in the right hand, these ascending diatonic triads. So to make that fit on guitar, I reduced the triads to diads, just two notes here, and it starts like this. I end up holding this G in the bass, if you will, with my thumb for as long as I can. I do use my thumb a lot in solo guitar work. So starts off with an F and the A on top, so we almost have like a G sus9 sound. And once again, I'm just bringing these top notes diatonically up through the scale. So we're going to go. And the rhythm I'm using is just triplets throughout there, starting with the bass note. Once again, just walking these diads diatonically through a C major scale. So we have F and A, G, B, A, C, B, D, and then I do jump to the next set of strings here for C and E, and then we keep going up just like that through C major. We end up here on a D and a B, and our next chord that we hit at the top of the measure, G sus13. So keeping that G pedal in the bass here. And for this whole next part, we play these as descending chords over that G pedal, and our melody just alternates between the E and the B string, so it lays nicely on guitar. So we have our next chord, almost like a G6 type of sound, or maybe E minor 7 over G without the fifth. I think maybe even Johnny plays a C in there, but this covers the sound well. So on top, our melody, finally this kind of standard G7 sus voicing, and then I move that up to a G sharp, fully diminished 7 chord, so our outer voice is moving contrary motion, which is kind of nice. And you could still hear that over that G pedal there. It's basically going to be a G7 flat 9. So all together, and then I go to this G13 voicing, which I do bar for most of these examples when I come back to it. And the reason I do that is so my pinky can easily travel this melody here. So we're going to go E, F. Sometimes if you do this, that's harder for me to do personally, so I bar. And then for the start of the tune, now we're on the first A here. So we're starting with a C6-9 chord, and basically I'm just wiggling my pinky here to go ahead and change that melody note on top. I am barring, so I could have that F sharp, and I'm going. So C6-9, just using my pinky to go between that. Next chord, A7, flat 13, or sharp 5. Barring on the top 4 strings, add these 2 fingers on the G and the B strings, 6th fret there. And all of this melody is pretty much diatonic, so we're going to go. But with that A chord, one thing I really like to do for solo guitar arrangements is basically have sustained chords and moving melodies. It's very pianistic-like, so there's the A7. Next, we're going to a D minor 7, and I'm playing just a stack of fourths here, and I'm just using my middle finger here to go ahead and play the melody, similar to over that C chord, the first chord. And then I'm gonna head up to an F minor 6/9. This is almost like a sub for a D minor 7 flat 5, because we are gonna go to a G next. So it's almost like a 2/5 in C, but we have melody is going da da da. So da 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 da. I'm playing that G13, that same sort of barred version from earlier. So F minor 6/9. Da, da, da. Excuse me. Da, da. And then for the Would You Be Mine part, I'm almost doing like a 3-6-2-5 type of thing with a little bit of subbing going on there, substitution. And so I'm starting with a, that's the melody, playing an open low E string there. And then, so this is kind of a crunchy voicing. It's kind of like an E flat diminished major 7 with that D on top. And this is really just in passing. It's like a sub for that 6th chord. We're going 3-6-2-5 here. And I try and hold out that D when I hit this diet on the bottom. So D and F, that's going to be our 2. And then we're going to hit our 5. Basically that G13, that E on top is our melody. So, and sometimes I'll break up the bass with the chord. I won't play it all at once. So you have those options. So you do that twice, and then it brings us back around. And that wasn't the cleanest there on that D, but now we're at the second A. Basically much the same, starting off with that C6/9, A7, flat 13, D minor 7, or D minor 11, we got the G in there, F minor 6/9, G13 right there, and then we do the same again. And then this time around it changes to lead us into the bridge. So we still do that. And then after what would be our D minor chord here, we're going to go to a C7 chord. And that's going to lead us into the bridge, which goes to the 4, F. First chord is going to be an F major 7. And this is how I've been voicing it. I am barring just a low E up to the B string. Technically I'm barring the E string too, but you know, I'm not playing it in the voicing. But in the original video, I do a shell voicing A7. Kind of jump down for that A note right there, but you could easily do the stock, you know, cowboy chord A7. So that's the first 4 measures of the bridge. So once again, F major 7, A7, leading to a D minor 7. And I often play this 1-3-7 and then the 1 on top, since that's our melody. You do just have to make sure that you're bringing out that melody note, because that C is so close it can clash. You could always drop it from your voicing too if you don't want it in there. But then we're gonna hit our A flat 7 right here, and basically for this stock A flat 7 type of voicing, 1 7 3 5, and I am barring this as well. So once again, first 4 measures of the bridge. Next, C over G. I've got a G here, and then a C, an E on top. F over G. Move that up a half step for G flat over A flat. Go back down, but now we're adding our pinky because our melody keeps ascending. So altogether, that bridge. to lead lead us back into that main melody, the last A. What I did in the video was that G13 voicing. What you could also do is do like a G13 voicing there with the E and B strings open. Or if you wanted something maybe a little spicier, drop that A down to an A flat, so you have a 13 flat 9. G7 13 flat 9, I should say. Now we're at the last A, so it starts much the same as the other A's. C6 9, A7 flat 13. Here's where we're going to start to get a little different. D minor 7 or D minor 11. As we get to this F minor 6 9, this is where things change. I'm going to do from here a backdoor to 5 to C. So I'm going to go F minor, B flat 7, and then technically back to C. So what we're doing here is have my 6/9 voicing, and I'm playing 3 notes over this chord instead of 2 this time. So we go da, 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 oops, da, 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 da. I'm singing it, but I'm not playing it. Da, 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 da. And then C over G. Very similar voicing to before, but this time we're adding this G here on the D string 5th fret for our melody. So we go, would you be mine? Would you be mine? This chord is D minor over A. So it's almost like we're taking, you know, your standard bar chords, but we're putting the 5th on the bottom. And there's also that melodic motion of the G7, B is our melody, jumping up to an A, 2-1 resolution there on the C. That's the end of the first A. Now we have the outro. So it starts up here on the 4th chord, just starting with an F and an A. And while that's ringing, I play another F and an A an octave up. Won't you be? Here's an E minor chord, straight E minor, low E, standard 3-note voicing on top. Keep that same principle applied from that F chord, now in a D minor 7, so I'm playing power chord on the bottom, but won't you? And then C sharp fully diminished 7, and I am barring on these top 3 or 4 strings so I can get that G melody on top. So all together, back to that D minor 11 voicing, this time going all the way up to the top string there with that A, and our melody goes da, 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 please won't you be, please won't you. And in the original video, this is the voicing I went with. It's an E over G, or a G13 with a flat 9. You can do some other options though, like I showed you earlier. So you can go or you can go all those work. I'm just going so over that G you have the open E and B, and that's the tune. So let's put it all together. Thanks, I hope you enjoyed this video lesson. Please like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. If you're visiting the channel, check out some other videos while you're here, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.